Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Button Mashers. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Today's gonna be a little different. I put out a poll on this channel, and I put out a question asking, hey, what questions do you have for me? I made a video about it before, and I had about 8 or 9 questions. This time, I have quite a few more, enough to fill a full podcast episode. So this podcast is going to be about these questions, answering all the questions you have. I'm not going to put them at the bottom of the screen, but I will be shouting out every single person that asked the question, and so we're going to get into it. A couple announcements before we get into that, though. This will be the last episode on this channel. I need to create its own, the podcast, have its own channel. All that stuff will be linked below. I'm not quite sure if it's going to maintain the Button Mashers name. Whatever, we're always changing, always doing things. We're always, trying to make things properly. I'm trying to make things the way that I need them to be made. So all the links will be below. Don't worry. If you're interested, please go over there, check it out, subscribe. I'm going to be like all throughout November, just over and over and over again, pushing the podcast channel because it's just where it's going to live. Nothing's going to change here. It's just all the podcast stuff's going to be over there. All the stuff, if you're already listening to it on Spotify, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's all over the place. You can still pick it up there. And that's the big thing. And also, if you want to be a part of the people who get the extra episode, that's right, there's going to be an extra episode released on Halloween, the 31st. So you just go over to patreon.com, become one of the patrons, and you'll be able to just be a part of that crew and get that extra episode, because I'm going to do an episode, again, one episode new one bonus episode every month. I'm losing it. I haven't had enough coffee. My kid is napping, so let's get into it, guys. I think that's all the announcements we need to get into. Also, just thank you for being a part of this. This is awesome. I'm excited. Okay, so let's get into it. First question by Sai Tarun. Your inspiration to start a YouTube channel. Sai, my inspiration came from watching vloggers, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, Maddie Hapoya, Chris Howe, and then on Instagram, watching people like, Jesse Driftwood, and then watching, seeing different people do things. And I saw this performance, right? I like performing. I like that kind of thing. And I was just like, this is a cool thing. I'm creative. I've been making videos since high school. And I saw that there's this YouTube space. I didn't think it was possible for me. So my original goal was to be a vlogger. And so I did that for a couple years, and it didn't pan out. I have a bunch of vlogs that are unlisted. If you want to see them, just, hit me up in the Discord. Oh yeah, that's a plug. Discord, you should be a part of that too. Free. Everything's down below in the description. But I just was like, dude, this is crazy. I want to do this. And so I gave it a crack, and it failed. It failed horribly. And so it took me a while to get to where I'm at now. And where I'm at now is because I was, everything in the world changed, and I thought, I need to do what I love, and I love making content. I want to get paid to do this. I hated the fact that, my wife was pregnant, and I was working full-time at Apple. And so I was consistently at work. I was always there. I was always doing my thing. And, I realized quickly that I was not going to be able to see my daughter be raised. I was going to be at work all the time. And she also worked in an office, so I'm like, gosh, what can I do? And my dream was always to work from home, so I was like, okay, I'm going to give YouTube another crack. And at the same time, there was these online creators, Think Media, and they were putting on a challenge, a 1-week challenge. They had seminar classes every single day. I watched 2 to 3 hours every single day, and then did the challenge that they did. And at the end of it, they did a pitch for their classes. I spent the money. I put a little bit of cash forward. It was more than I could afford, but I did it anyway. And I did it because I'm like, I need to get some skin in the game, and this is where we're at now. So that was all in February of this year, of 2021. I got serious February of 2021, and here we are in October, the end of October of 2021. We're sitting at 16,000 subscribers. It's incredible. I didn't think I'd be able to get to this point, and it's been awesome. So, Sai, that's what my inspiration started at vlogging, but then it continued on to be able to create something that I'm going to be able to spend more time with my daughter and my kids. My wife and I are going to hope to have more kids. So, That's that. Birdman, will the OLED Switch replace your Switch Lite as in playing portable mode? Quick answer, yes. It has replaced my Switch Lite. I actually just packed up my Switch Lite. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it. I love the color too much to let it go, so I don't think I'm going to sell it off. I think I'm going to hold on to it. But yeah, that's man, it's taken over. It's taken over. Pricey Galaxy, do you think the Switch OLED will be another Wii U in sales? I'm not sure. I mean, the Switch Lite right now seems to really be getting into the hands of a lot of people, and as with myself and a bunch of other creators, we're realizing that this thing was poorly marketed. It's a lot better than we thought. A lot better than we thought. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, dude, this thing is crushing. So I don't know off the top of my head the actual sales of the of that, but I think that it's going to do a lot better than the Wii U did. I could be wrong. Uncle Drew says, how has there been a time where you were disappointed in the amount of views / subs when you really worked hard on a video? Yeah, the video I did with my buddy where we played Mario Kart in a coffee shop, I loved that video. I love that video. It's so much fun. You can find it, on my channel, but I was pretty disappointed. I really wanted to do some of that stuff more. It's tough because, see, I'm in an office. This is my, my little tiny studio. And the reason why I do it is because I watch my kid throughout the week because my wife's at work and I have my daughter. And so, it bums me out that I, have to be stuck in this room. I try to get as creative as possible, and it seems to have worked. But I want to do a lot more creative things, and so that was a test, and it didn't work, and it really bummed me out. And also, like, I have a video that gave me. So I have a video right now. It's the Elite controller. I did a video about that. It's a short. It's 59 seconds long. I was experimenting, and it has 3.5 million views. And I literally, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have made that video. And the reason is because it launched my channel into a spot where over a third of its subscribers right now, I got a significant amount, but over a third of them are people who don't really care about what I have to say. They don't care about the community. And some of them are, but a great deal of them just were flipping through shorts and they saw it and they're like, I'm going to do it. And a lot of the comments are negative too and complaining. So it's just like, it created this really, really weird spot. And it's actually still to this day, it's the best video I have, but I feel like it's created a weird place for my channel. And it's just like, that's not what I want to be. I want to be about community. I don't want to be about talking crap on equipment. There's enough of that out there. And I was talking good about it, but a lot of people, other people are talking crap. So, yeah. Meow's Garage asks, worst gaming experience of all time. Worst gaming experience of all time? That's a great question. I'm wildly positive in a lot of things. I think my worst gaming experience of all time has to be just about any time I play Call of Duty Warzone. It's very stressful for me. I can't say that my gaming experience, like, it feels gross to me. I'm not into it, and every time I watch people play it, really good people, it's fun to watch, but I see the attitude that's behind it and the kind of like just hyper aggressive competitiveness. And as cool as that may be and whatever, like, it's its own thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like watching Dr. Disrespect. He's silly, but here's the deal, that's kind of like the narrative that happens, and he's a character though, right? But people are really that intense and that negative. So I feel like it really ruins gaming for me when I play games like that. So Call of Duty Warzone really, actually, every time I play Call of Duty Warzone or just Call of Duty in general, I never leave that gaming session feeling good. I always feel like, oh, dude, either not that I wasted time, but just like this weird aggression. I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't like it. So that's from Meow's Garage. Uncle Drew again asks, has there been a time where... Oh, I already answered that. Did he ask it twice? Oh, no. Sorry. I just did that out of order. Okay, cool. Next one. This one looks like a little smiley face that says, hi, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? Street Farter? Great. Awesome. You guys hold on to that one while I take a sip of coffee. Street Fighter. Great. I'm going to be checking periodically to make sure that my daughter doesn't cry. Street Fighter. I love the characters in Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat's cool and all. You have Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raven, all that stuff. That's great. But I love Street Fighter. Ryu, and Ken, and Akuma. And I have jeans actually that are based off of the sumo wrestler. I don't know why I was gonna say Akuma, but Akuma. Oh gosh, what's his name? Fighter sumo. What's his name? I have the jeans. E Honda. Duh. I have E Hondas. It's by a denim brand called Naked and Famous, and I love their denim. So, oh my gosh, I love their denim. All right, let's see what games. Okay, Anthony Reyes asks, "What games are you looking forward to the most coming out before the new year?" So these questions were asked 2 weeks ago. So some of the games have come out. There are 3 games specifically that I'm wildly excited for. One of them I have already gotten. And then another one I'm super stoked for, and then the third one actually just got pushed to spring. So the 3 games were Guardians of the Galaxy. I just got it. I played for 2-3 hours last night. My wife watched. It's so much fun. And the great thing is you interact with your characters, and you're telling stories, and you're just, it's so funny. The banter, it's not the same voice actors, right? So you're not, Rocket's not Bradley Cooper. Groot, the voice is a little bit different, a little bit deeper. Star-Lord is not Chris Pratt, and I forgot the name of the other. Is it Zoe Saldana? Is Gamora? Yeah, I think that's what it is. So and Drax is not Batista. So all of the voice actors are a little bit different. In fact, I think they're from Canada, because they like the words. Like, I heard "good buddy," and I know that's a Canadian thing because I've been watching recently a show called Letterkenny. And so he's like, "How you doing, good buddy?" And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a very, very here I am, very, very Canadian thing to say. So the voice actors are a little different. So Guardians of the Galaxy, it's incredible. I love it. I'm playing on PlayStation 5. I just got the Cosmic Deluxe Edition, and it is the freaking coolest thing ever, because the Cosmic Deluxe Edition is let's see here. It has a hard book. It has and I'm not showing it on. So if you're just listening, I'm not showing it. It has a hard book, which is art steel book. So a hardcover book with all the artwork from the game. It has a steel book case for the game itself, and then it came with a bunch of other extra downloadable content. And I think it's an amazing price. All the stuff that you're getting is cosmetic. You're getting a digital copy of all the music, and all the music in it is so good. In fact, the music in it is just like metal and rock from back in the 80s and 90s. And you have to, if you stream it, turn it into streaming mode, because the game's the soundtrack is all copyrighted music, which is, it's awesome to have a game that has just a real soundtrack. So that's a lot of fun. So Guardians of the Galaxy is super cool. The next game I'm really excited for is the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I'm so stoked for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I was pumped for the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, but it ended up really disappointing me. So next is Brilliant Diamond. And then the third game I was wildly excited for, and if I would have answered this question when you posted it, would have been the Advanced Wars 1 and 2 remake. But they've since posted they're pushing that out till spring of 2022. So that was supposed to come out in December, and I was so stoked for it. I might give Battlefield 2042 a crack. I might give it a little look-ski, but I'm not sure. First-person shooters and games like that that are multiplayer based often they don't tickle my fancy. In fact, the best first-person shooter experience that I've had in a long time was actually Destiny, and that's just because that's more of an RPG-style MMO kind of thing. I don't know if it's considered an MMO, but I really like that. So those are the 3 big games I'm excited by the end of the year. I guess Halo too, Halo Infinite. I'm going to give that some time, because I know that Halo is a lot of fun. So those are kind of the ones I'm looking for. So that was from Anthony Reyes. Deuce the Second. Love this. Love you. I don't even know if you're a girl or a guy. It doesn't matter. I love you. Which is most least likely? Nintendo VR, another TV-only console, or Nintendo cloud gaming on any device? Least likely, I would say, is probably Nintendo gaming on any device. Nintendo VR, the Labo isn't VR, but Labo has things that you can do something kind of similar. Another TV-only console, I think that Nintendo might play with that idea, but I think that Nintendo gaming on other devices, cloud gaming on other devices, if you're talking about cloud gaming on mobile, their online service is already so spotty. They would have to really try hard to get that going. So I'm not too sure. I don't think we're going to see cloud gaming. I'd like to, but I think that's the least likely that we're going to get. So that's from Deuce the Second. Alexander asks, do you play horror games? I love the Silent Hill and Evil Dead, or is it just not your cup of coffee? And he has a little coffee march. So I don't play horror games because of one very specific incident, which I'll share with you. I've shared this on streams before. So when I was younger, I was dating this girl, and the family was really into like Halloween, horror stuff, whatever. And so we were going up to Big Bear. This was, I was probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. We're going up to Big Bear with her mom, and they had rented a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. And it wasn't around Halloween time. It's just that her family really liked that kind of stuff. And hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. And so we're up there at Big Bear. I bring my PlayStation 2, and, there's a Blockbuster. So I was like, hey, let's go rent a movie and a video game. And I was like, cool, because that's the kind of person I was. And so we go and rent, I don't even know. I don't remember the movie, but I think it was a scary movie, to be honest. And I don't like scary movies. I terrified. I was scared of the dark growing up until a very old age. It's dark, stuff like that just freaks me out. Or freaked me out. Now, I don't know. I'm not really scared of that kind of stuff. But horror games I don't enjoy. And so the next thing that I got was they're like, let's rent Silent Hill. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to play Silent Hill. So it was Silent Hill 2 that was out. And I was like, fine, we'll rent Silent Hill 2, whatever. So we get back to the house, watch the movie first, of course. So it's like already midnight where, we've done stuff, whatever. We had dinner. It's late. We're in this cabin in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, well, I'm going to play some video games, right? So I'm going to play some video games with, my girlfriend's there, her mom, whatever, her brother. So we're playing, I put in Silent Hill, and I'm like, God, I've never played a Silent Hill game. I know this is kind of scary, but start going. Start playing, and I just remember, you have a flashlight, there's a bunch of stuff, and then stuff starts jumping out, and I'm freaking out. I'm like so stressed out. Of course, they want to play with all the lights off. Great. All the lights are off. I'm shaking in my boots. I'm terrified, but I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough guy. So I'm not scared, but I'm scared, but I'm not scared. But I'm legit more scared than I've ever been in my whole entire life. But I'm not scared, but I'm scared. So we're playing, having a good old time. And it's kind of windy outside. So stuff's hitting the trees are hitting the side of the house. And I am just like pee your pants scared, man. So like shaking, but I'm not scared. And then this is the part that was traumatizing. The power went out. Yeah, everything shuts off. And I'm like, oh no. And her mom, of course, is like laughing, just this is the best thing ever. She's my girlfriend at the time. I don't know how she felt because I was having an internal crisis. I was by myself on an island. That island was Shutter Island. I was in the cabin in the woods. I was being chased by the Texas Chainsaw Man. I was terrified. So I don't know what was happening. And if anyone would have barged into that house, guess who's the first person out? Me. Would I have protected? No. Would I have thrown my girlfriend's brother in front of myself so that the assailant would have captured them? Oh yeah. Actually, I would have probably reached for her mom to throw her because her mom kept playing tricks on us and throwing stuff. It was awful. I was terrified. To this day, I'll never play Silent Hill. So that's the story. It was very, very traumatizing. And I choose to hold on to that story, even though really I probably could play Silent Hill. It wouldn't bother me, but it's more fun to, remember that and just be a baby. Why are forks called forks? Because they sure as heck don't look like spoons or knives. That's from Joseph Regret. And it's R3 GRET. Yeah, I regret answering that. Blossom, have you burned yourself with those light bulbs yet? No. There's light bulbs above me, and they're not hot. I don't think. I'm going to try it real quick. For those of you listening, just hold on. Nope, they're LED. They're not hot. They're warm, but they're not hot. Thank you, Blossom, for asking me that question. Blaine. I can't read. It's so far away. Brian Goodiel. Do you think being a part of the console master race is worth it? Also, what are your thoughts on homebrew on old systems like the dying PS4 Pro? This is a great question. Before I answer it, quick plug, subscribe, be a part of this channel. Also, this I'm realizing I have so many questions left. This is going to be a 2-part episode, and the second part is going to be exclusive for our Patreon members. So if you want to hear the second part, Patreon links are going to be below, and it's going to be exclusive for them. Okay, let's see. Do you think that okay, so great question. I do not think that consoles master race. I don't think that PCs master race. I am coining the phrase, and we are called the Gaming Ronins. And the reason why we're Gaming Ronins is because we don't have a master. We are masterless. Ronins being masterless samurai. Their story being kind of sad, taking the sadness, and I'm turning it into the Rising Phoenix. We do not have a master. We are gamers. We are gamers that are here to have fun. But actually, also like Ronins being at the time hired mercenaries, people they may have done not the best things. We're going to flip that and turn it into good. I want us not to necessarily be hired. I want us to be fighting for the right thing and fighting for the inclusion, love, and stuff like that. And this master race nonsense is exactly that. It's bullcrap. It's nonsense. If I cussed on this, I would cuss. It's not. It's awful. Master race is dumb. It's dead. We are ending that war. We are Thanos snapping that war. Someone said we have the love gauntlet. I love that. But the master race doesn't exist. So is being a part of the console master race, as you say, worth it? So the ideology of thinking that consoles are better than PC, I think that playing video games on consoles right now is extremely, is hot. Is real hot, and for a couple reasons. Reason numero uno is that right now, more than ever, it is very difficult to get yourself into PC gaming because the price of building a PC is tough. It's expensive. You can build yourself a somewhat adequate one, but if you want to get one that's putting out the same image quality and stuff like that, an Xbox Series S, not even Series X, but a Series S is able to do with a TV, or even like a Series, Series X, higher PlayStation 5, like we're really talking about some serious power. You're going to have to find those parts. And those parts, when you do find them, are astronomically overpriced. They're so overpriced because scalpers, and also you're also fighting against crypto miners, because crypto being so huge right now, you're finding that these graphics cards are being swooped up by crypto miners. So it's just really tough. So being a console gamer has practical application. Practical being when you're able to get your hands on one of these consoles. Xbox Series S being the most available out of the 4 extremely hard to find systems, being the Series S, Series X, digital PS5, and regular PS5. I think that in Nintendo Switch, you can find a normal one or a Switch OLED, doesn't matter. Any Switch is going to play a Switch game. You're going to be able to play. The Lite being the cheapest version, you just play always in handheld mode, and then the Switch Classic, you play it on TV, right? So you're still saving yourself some money. But that being said, like even if you were to buy a Switch, the cheapest version of all of them, a Switch Lite, $200, a Series S, $300, and you have $500, and then a digital PlayStation 5, which I highly don't recommend getting a digital PS5, but whatever. A digital PS5, that's $400. That's $900. Let's just say tax and everything. If you're in a really, really high sales tax place, 10%, $990, right? Just $10 shy of his grand. And even if we say a grand, $1,000 to get all 3 systems, and then you have, online packages and online gaming, streaming stuff. So you could probably get all 3 systems with 1 to 2 games and the online services for, up to a year for like $1,200-$1,300. Boom. Set. You're set for all 3 systems if you can get your hands on them. You do the same thing with a PC. You're spending $1,200 to $1,300. You're going to get something that is going to be able to do the job, but you're going to have to buy peripherals, like a display and, a keyboard, mouse, stuff like that. And just stuff's getting more and more expensive. And so the same amount, the same price, the limitations are there, right? Because Nintendo, if you do end up getting a Nintendo device, you're able to play Nintendo exclusive games, which a lot of Nintendo's exclusives are there. Again, exclusives are exclusive to the console, but like PlayStation 5 as well as Xbox Series X, the newer, or Xbox Series S, the newer generation, the 9th gen, right? They I think that's what it is, the 9th gen. They don't have the exclusive library that older generations had at launch, right? We're still waiting for some of these exclusives to come out. They're still available cross-gen, especially these big AAA titles, right? If people are really into the big popular ones like the Battle Royales or stuff like that, you're able to get them, and to be able to play them on a PC, you're going to really need to juice up that PC. So I think that console, just financially right now in this given economic world, from a money standpoint, just honestly makes the most sense. When it comes to flexibility of play, you're always going to get the most flexibility out of a PC because of the like the customization aspect of it, but also with PC, it does come with its whole slew of other things you got to take care of, right? Because the PC is not made just to game. Even people who build out gaming PCs, right? You are ending up spending a lot of money to do that, but PCs are able to do so much more than just game. So, there's practical aspect of that, but that also comes with some other types of maintenance. So I prefer to, personally, when it comes to play video games, I like, I've done PC gaming slightly a little bit here and there, and I just never enjoyed the experience as much as I did on on console gaming. So I think that being a part of the console, being a console gamer right now in this current state of gaming is great. It's super great. I think it's the best it's ever been, personally, especially with the advancements that Xbox is trying to do, the push to having, multiple platforms, multiple consoles, multiple ways to play, PlayStation coming around, and Nintendo having the hybrid system. We're just really, really benefiting as gamers, console gamers specifically. And as far as taking your your older systems and doing whatever you want to do to them, yeah, I guess it's popular. Emulation machine's a thing, but emulation comes with a bunch of different things you have to take care of. You have to look into legality of emulation. You got to look into different things like that, and that's just its own cup of coffee. I personally don't emulate my games because I've never gotten into it. I don't have anything against it. I understand the technical, legal aspects of it, and that's not necessarily why I don't. Although, it does, I guess, I don't because it's illegal to emulate. I don't know. I'm not really. That's not really part of that. But yeah. So I hope that answered your question. Super, super long-winded. I'm going to get on to the next question now. From the mailman. Why do we park on a driveway and drive on a parkway? Makes no sense. You're telling me, man. If you can figure that out for me. I used to love that stuff, saying that in high school. Corey Bernazzoli. What's the best way to be a top 2-switch household? LOL. I have a light, but I want to add a regular switch to our living room to enjoy, but also while still being able to use our light, mainly so my daughter can play on it. Okay, so this is the way that I've done it. With a second switch, with a light, I made my light the primary. And the reason why I make it the primary is because that one's not going to necessarily always have internet connection. Whereas the one that's going to be in the living room, right, the Switch Classic or the Switch OLED, that one is going to be in a room where it could potentially always be connected to the internet as long as your internet's up and running. So the reason why you want the internet is because on a secondary console, it needs to always hit the internet to verify that the user that is trying to play the game has access to the game. So you would definitely want to do that. So that's the first thing you want to do. Make your fixed switch the secondary switch because it will always be in the same place. Number 2, if there are more than one people using it, so your daughter can use the switch in there, she could have her own user. The problem is game licenses. Game licenses will be available on that switch. It gets hairy because I've tried it where I purchased Super Smash for one of mine, and then when the other user tries to use it, they can't. I guess it's if they're both using it at the same time. So you're going to want to definitely, know that. So your daughter is not going to be able to use, if you're playing Mario Kart on yours, she won't be able to play Mario Kart on the other one unless you have 2 copies of Mario Kart. I learned this with my wife. And then thing number 2, so that's another thing you think about. Thing number 3 that you would want to do is she creates her own user. You have your own user. I would say don't give her a Nintendo if she's too young. I mean, it depends. Don't give her her own Nintendo ID so that there isn't the constant verification of games that she owns. That might be able to get you a little workaround to have that, or she can just play games off of your user, which could potentially change your save status. I don't know. So that's something to think about. But that's the way I would do it. I hope that answers your question. And if other people have better ways to do it, please comment below, so we can get that. John Asation. I'm a fellow Nintendo guy like yourself, but my question is, what made you a Nintendo guy and has kept you from switching to Xbox or PlayStation? Great question. So I don't think that I'm necessarily a exclusive Nintendo only kind of person. Unless I was forced to, then I would be choosing Nintendo. And the biggest reason that Nintendo has me is the biggest reason why Nintendo has business, and it's franchise nostalgia. And that's really what it is. We're seeing a lot of people playing Nintendo games, being, children getting into the easier Nintendo games, but also us. People, millennials who grew up playing Nintendo. Granted, millennials also grew up playing Xbox, PlayStation, and stuff like that. But Nintendo really, really appealed to us, right? Because we grew up in that era, the 90s and the 2000s, where Nintendo stepped into this crazy space with the Super Nintendo, with the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, and then the Wii. Those four, that power pack was super intense and awesome for Nintendo people who played Nintendo games. And now what Nintendo's doing is what the whole film industry is doing. They don't know what to do, so they're just remaking everything. And it's working only because people like myself are tied to that nostalgia. Because video games are so repetitive and so similar that nothing is really new anymore. So you go to pick up a new game and you're playing it and you're like, well, this just is a reskinned, a different version of this game. You're like, whatever. But Nintendo goes, well, maybe we're not even subtle about it. Maybe we just take a game and say we're reskinning it and then you just play it again, but you haven't seen it for 15, 20 years. And that is really what they're capitalizing on. And it works. And it works for me. And it's why I love Nintendo so much. It's because the games that they have, I've played for a long time. I love Mario. Mario reminds me of times I played video games with my dad. I love Zelda because it reminds me of when I started playing RPGs. I love Pokemon because I remember trading Pokemon with my friends and playing the different Pokemon games. They just locked me in. I'm really excited for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I didn't get Shining Pearl. I got Brilliant Diamond because I'm going to be able to play an older style Pokemon game that looks better. Sword was great, but I couldn't get into it super, super hardcore because I loved the top-down kind of feel of, the older games, like Yellow or Crystal. Like that's what I grew up on. And so Nintendo holds that for me, and they hold the nostalgia effect. And that's how they win when it comes to my love for them. But when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, I can tell you what, if a game exists on all three and it's not a Nintendo exclusive, I'm buying it on the system that's going to make it look the best. So going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, it's available via cloud on Nintendo Switch. Right out the gates, not a good idea. It's too intense. So I have it on the Xbox Series. I could purchase on the Xbox Series S or on the PlayStation 5. And I'm like, this is probably going to look the best on the PlayStation 5. So because I'm a multi-console gamer, I now have options. My PlayStation 5 being the most powerful machine and being connected to my television, I know that playing a game on that is going to look a certain way. And so I'm like, I want to get that game on the PlayStation 5 for the TV. If I didn't have a PlayStation 5, I get it for the Xbox. My Xbox machine is my streaming box where I play all the different streaming stuff. So each one has its own utility in my gaming life. That's what it is. I'm sorry for the sound of the background if you can hear it. But yeah, it's just that's kind of the way that I run my gaming. I used to be exclusively Nintendo and PlayStation. That's just what I had, and that's why I played it. I've always owned a Nintendo system, though, whether it was a handheld console, a TV-only console, or a combination of both. For the longest time, I ran a DS, then 3DS. I skipped Wii U, and I think I even skipped the Wii, to be honest with you, because by the time the Wii had come out and all the different things with movement, I was living in a small place, and so, no, it came out I was still living with my parents. Yeah, I mean, I like the GameCube so much, there was nothing too compelling about the Wii for me, and so I never got it. And then when the Wii U came out, I was like, this is cool, but I'm not into it. So I hope that answers your question, John. Crownell. What music do you like to listen to? Ooh, great question. I really, really like movie soundtracks. I really like 8-bit remakes. I like 8-bit music. But if you're talking about like genre specific, I am into hardcore music. I really like pop punk. Super into hardcore and pop punk. And then I like older school hip hop, old school rap, and some of the more like weird poppy stuff. Like I really like Chromeo. Love Bruno Mars too. He's different. But I mean, if I had to choose one style to listen to, I listen to a lot of pop punk from like the mid 2000s to like the mid teen thousands. And those are like the big ones, like Atreyu, that's more hardcore, but Alkaline Trio, My Chemical Romance, Used, those kind of bands. That's like what I grew up on, and I love that kind of stuff. I try to find music that's going to be more like that because I do a lot of like lo-fi for this because that's what the what is it? Whatever this niche does. But lo-fi's boring. So I want to do, get music that I'm more into. Where did you get that hoodie from? Bob, the fat assassin. This hoodie? This Play hoodie? It's my merch, baby. You can buy it on Teespring, or right below. You can see it underneath. This merch is available. This is the Play hoodie, and it is to show the world that we play. We play video games, and not only do we play, we have Happy Gaming and the little HG down there in the bottom corner. That is to tell everybody also that we are here and we are positive. We are a positive force in this gaming industry. Xavier, 1 out of 10. Where would you rank the Xbox Series S? 10 out of 10. In 10 out of 10 for multiple reasons. Graphically, it gets beat by the Series X. But I think that in itself doesn't matter because it is the biggest thing that it has is its availability. So you can play next-gen games on it. The next thing that it has is its price. The price point is incredible, being $299.99. And I've made this point. I make it, I think, almost every video. You get that. You get a full year of Game Pass Ultimate if you can get the first 3 months for $1. And you get yourself a cheap 2 to 3 terabyte external hard drive, non-SSD, just normal hard drive. And you're going to be able to play a significant amount of games. And load games on, take games off that need to be on internal storage in order to play them quicker than re-downloading them off of the Game Pass store or whatever, off Game Pass itself. And all of that is going to be cheaper than the Xbox Series S. So there's such a high value proposition. The load times, because of the SSD, are amazing. Even when you're playing off of your external hard drive, the load times are still really, really good. And it is getting the support that next-gen games are getting. It isn't going to be a forgotten system. I will put money down that this system is not going to fade away and be over. Sure, games are going to come out and are going to require more and more power, but I think the Series S has it under the tank. I think there's things, or under the hood, I think there's things it has that we just don't know about. I really think that thing is going to go the distance. Really, really think that thing is going to go the distance. So I think it's a 10 out of 10 when it comes to right now with video games as a thing. All right, this is gonna be the last question, and then if you want to hear the rest of these, you're gonna go to you don't want to be a patron on our Patreon. If my Xbox can't stay on, let alone appear on the TV for 60 seconds when it is on, what part do I need to replace on it to get it working again, so I can at least transfer everything to a new console? From Project 4.15.21.7. I don't know. So maybe that isn't our last question. I don't. If my Xbox can't stay on. Oh man, I really don't know. If it auto turns off, I'd say hit up Microsoft, baby. I'm not too sure. I can't troubleshoot. That question. That's too much. Too much. Okay, this will be the last question. Do you see Nintendo discontinuing the original Switch and just sticking with the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED? From Arturo Olive. No, I don't see that happening because the availability of the OLED right now is rough. I think that the Nintendo Switch, as it stands, do I see? Oh, gosh, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I think it will happen, but I don't think it's going to happen for a while. And because if they did discontinue it, people would lose their gosh darn mind. If anything, I think that we might see a little bit of a price drop. Honestly, we get the Switch Lite at $199, the Switch OLED at $240, or the Switch normal at $249, and then the OLED at $349. I think honestly, what should have happened, which would have been, and I think that honestly, what we're seeing, the Switch OLED that we have now is because of the part shortage. I believe the body, everything that we have was supposed to be the Switch Pro, the Switch 4K, whatever we thought was going to happen. I think that's what I honestly believe, truly, without a shadow of a doubt, believe that what we have in our hands, with the body being a little bit bigger and all that stuff, was supposed to be the next iteration of the Switch. With the new dock, the dock being able to be updated, with the dock having a chip in it, I honestly believe it was supposed to be the next Switch. But because of what's happening worldwide, with all the part shortages, with all the different technology, I think what Nintendo did was go, we can't do it. We can't get the Switch into hands. So let's give them the maximum we can do and produce and still get it out and get something out. And, what can we change on the Switch that's going to make the biggest difference but also cost us the least amount? And it was the OLED. They gave us a screen that was a little bit bigger, a lot a bit brighter, and significantly more clear. And in doing so, we have a system that does feel different. And so I think that OLED was supposed to be paired with a lot more, and it was going to be like a $499 situation or a $399 situation, but they're like, nah, we can't do it. And the reason why I say that is because Doug Bowser released something about when we have the ability to do something, we have to think about when is the best time to do it. And this was, I'm paraphrasing significantly, but I think what happened was they have the ability right now to give us the Switch Pro or whatever we want to call it. The Switch 2, but because of what's happening in the world with all the stuff, they're like, if we did this, it would be a nightmare. We wouldn't be able to get it into the hands of people. Scalpers would be even crazier than they are now with the OLED. The OLED's hard to find, but it's findable. It is findable. People are driving to different states on the East Coast to pick one up for an hour, whatever. It's findable. The fact that we were able to get Switch OLEDs into hands 2 weeks before it was even released, still think that was pretty ridiculous, but still, the fact that was happening just goes to show you this thing is findable. It was Doug in the Nintendo crew going, okay, we can do it, but we shouldn't do it right now. We need to wait. And do I think the Switch Pro is coming out next year? I don't know. Do I think that the pushback of the new Legend of Zelda is because the Switch Pro is being pushed out too? Yeah. I think that Switch Pro, as well as the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, whatever they're going to call it, are going to be together. Just like how Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 1, which is still a great game, launched with Switch 1, I think Switch 2 is going to launch with Breath of the Wild 2. These are my thoughts. These are just kind of my gut feelings. I have no proof. This is not a rumor. This is just kind of what I feel. And what I hope too. Do I think it's coming out next year? Maybe. I don't know though. And I think that just like a lot of the games we're getting that are coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X that are also still available on the Xbox One as well as the PlayStation 4, I don't think that was the original intention either. And I think the reason why games are taking so long to come out is because they're going, we have to retrofit. We got to retrofit. We got to be able to do this for the other systems because we do not have enough of these systems in the households for people to play these games. People think that this is because it's a money grab, that they're not delivering. I honestly think it's the opposite. I think that there is a severe hurt on these companies right now, a significant hurt because of part shortages, because of everything in the world shutting down and stuff like this, that they're going, okay, everything is delayed. So let's go ahead and either push a game out and wait for more availability of these systems, or let's buy ourselves some more time and let's make it backwards compatible. Because, and people are getting really upset. They're like, I have a PlayStation 5 and this is available on the PlayStation 4. What's the point? I just want you to change the perspective. They're not doing this to screw you over. I honestly believe that they're doing this because they realize the people who do truly want to upgrade are still waiting. I mean, the fact that the PlayStation 5 is still impossible to get, I know there's a lot of controversy out there with different stores holding on to them forever, and the distribution has been crap in some ways, sure, but I still don't think that is the intentional fault of these companies. I think that we got ourselves into a real weird spot economically. I mean, for goodness sakes, you couldn't find toilet paper for a while. Like, the people are doing weird, stupid things. The fact that Walmart, these rumors about Walmart hoarding PlayStation 5s, like something. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what the deal is. I haven't looked too far into it. All I can say is this. Times are weird. Things are weird. And I think that we need to take a step back and be a little bit better with our perspective and be like, okay, what's really happening? What's really, really happening? So when it comes to the Nintendo discontinuing the Switch, I don't think they're going to discontinue the Switch anytime soon just because of everything that's happening, right? People still want to get their hands on Switches and it's still selling pretty well. I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to see a slow phase out. Maybe once the OLED becomes more available, we might see the Switch roll out. What I think was supposed to happen was the OLED was supposed to be the 4K. The Switch was going to still stick around for people. That's why I don't think it's going to leave. Even though the Switch and the OLED are different by just a couple factors, the OLED being the biggest one, I think that they're going to keep it around because the intention was never to necessarily get rid of it. And the OLED, if anything, when a Switch Pro comes out, I think we might see the OLED phase out. I honestly that might be the case because I don't think this OLED was supposed to exist. I think this was truly a weird thing that they're like, well, we got to do something. We got to do something. Honestly, I think the OLED would have been better inside of a light body. That would have been the best bet because think about it. The OLED is only good outside. when you're playing in handheld mode. So if the OLED was in a light body, it would be unmatched. I just do it. Nintendo, do that. Take that OLED. Listen, this is what we do. Nintendo, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to JD. I know what I'm talking about. Take the OLED panels. Make them a little smaller. You can do it. I believe in you. Throw them in the light body. Give the light a little bit more battery juice. Just a little bit. Increase the storage of the light. Now we're talking. That would have made the most sense. I get what you tried to do, but when we are able to get the parts. OLED display, throw it in the switch light. Let's get a little more internal storage, a little louder speakers, because that's the dedicated handheld device, baby. Okay? Keep the Switch Classic. Keep it. It's fine. Keep this Classic. It's $300, $250, $300. New Switch Pro, all the crazy bells and whistles, $350. $375 or $400. I'll pay $400 for a Switch Pro. I'll do it. What do you guys think? If you're watching this, comment below. Say something. Find someone in the comments. Be friends with them. Talk to them. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about the Nintendo Switch. Let's do it. Okay? Let's do it. If you guys want to hear the special Halloween release of the rest of these questions, you gotta be a Patreon subscriber. That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Button Mashers. And I guess that's it, guys. Take it easy. Keep playing. And happy gaming.